So right here is one of the few remaining fragments of what they call the West Eugene wetlands. Most of this has been destroyed for big box stores. We've got Walmart, Target, Fred Meyer, strip mall, on and on down the line. And this is one of the few little fragments. We're right behind the Fred Meyer here, right behind the electrical utility building. As you can see, there are a few Canadian geese down here who are raising their babies. They've got some young ones hiding in the grass there. You can see these swallows darting around. I'm sure there's frogs in here. But this is really just a remnant. This is a remnant of a remnant, a fraction of what was here before. And this is what has happened to the entire Willamette Valley. Is the waterways have been drained, the wetlands have been drained, the rivers have been channelized. Everything's been destroyed for agriculture, for industrial development, for commercial real estate, like has been happening right up here. And you know, this is people think, when people think of the destruction of the planet, the murder of the planet, they often think of, you know, the destruction of the rainforest in the Amazon or palm oil plantations in Indonesia. But the reality is, this is happening right here. It's happening everywhere around the world, this progressive destruction of the last wild places. We've got some, probably can't see, but over there I can see 1, 2, 3 baby geese next to their parents there hanging out. They look like they're about a couple weeks old. All of these birds are at a fraction of their historic population numbers. This is all that's left, this tiny remnant. And it's because of habitat destruction, largely. That is the biggest driver of species extinction at this point, along with introduction of non-native species. But habitat destruction, it's all about habitat. And some of the biggest threats to habitat right now are industrial solar and wind development, believe it or not. You look at the science that actually analyzes the threats to land worldwide in terms of quote-unquote development, which we all know is really destruction. I can post a link below to this study. I think it was in the journal PLOS One, which is a very well-regarded scientific journal. But if it wasn't that one, then it was something else, similarly quite reputable. And this source was saying that wind and solar are way up there in terms of threats to the natural world. And to give you a little better idea of what this wetland looks like, we've got the native ash trees. We've got willows. We've got a lot of sedges and grasses. Not many wildflowers showing right now, but there sure are a lot of swallows darting around out here grabbing bugs. It's pretty cool to see. But I mean, this is just to give you an idea of how much of a fragment this is. On this side, we've got Fred Meyer, we've got a big strip mall. On this side, we have industrial development of some sort, houses and light industry. On this side, we have a gigantic warehouse that I believe is a refrigeration warehouse. It must be for storing food and other things that have to be stored in a freezer or in a refrigerated area. And then off on this side, we've got a little bit more green space, and then just housing developments. We've got the airport, we've got all kinds of stuff. So this is literally just a tiny pocket here. This is, the size of one city block that happened to get some level of protection. But a lot of these areas are just getting filled in gradually. In my neighborhood alone, I mean, we're seeing new houses getting built. We're seeing new developments going up, multi-million-dollar developments. We're seeing people putting in new roads. We're seeing, even right near here where I'm standing right now, we've seen a lot of people we've seen a lot of new lots getting developed. So these lots that are sort of like this, these little remnants inside encompassed by the strip mall, these remaining patches, and they're not great habitat. They're mostly worse than this. This is one of the nicer spots, but there are areas where some frogs remain, some wildflowers remain, some wildlife has a place where it can actually survive. Some non-humans have the ability to live. I don't know if you can see the baby geese. Can I zoom with this? No, I guess not. But the baby geese are right there. If you see the two big ones. Let's see. Okay, there are the two big ones, and there are three babies hanging out with them. There's another couple further back in the water, a mom and dad goose, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 babies. They might actually be ducks with babies. I can't quite see from here. They're a ways away. But you know what I was saying is just the last remnants of these places are being destroyed right now. And you see, you know, new gas stations going up, new businesses going up, new buildings going up of all kinds of different sorts, just filling in these last remaining wild spaces. There's one lot that's been for sale near here that is one of the few spots left in the entire city where you have a native oak forest in a somewhat natural state. And it's a small lot. It's, you know, it's the size of a normal lot. So I don't know what that is, 1/4 of an acre or something. Maybe half an acre maximum, probably less. But, you know, there are 5 or 6 nice mature oak trees there. And there are wildflowers and meadow around them. And that lot has been for sale for about 2 years now. And when that gets bought, chances are somebody's going to go in and clear all that out. Even if they leave a couple trees up, they're going to build a new driveway, they're going to put in a house or some other buildings. They're not going to just leave it. So this is what we're dealing with, this progressive devastation. You know, if you're paying attention, you can see it on a year-to-year, even month-to-month basis. But if you really compare it on more of a meaningful timeline, like if you were standing in this spot right here about 30 years ago, 40 years ago, there would have been none of this. It would have been all wetlands around here. And if you had been here 200 years ago or even 170 years ago, this would have been unrecognizable. I mean, there would have been fields of camas stretching off in every direction, you know, centuries-old oak trees, massive salmon runs, birds who would be so numerous that they would darken the sky for you know, long periods of time as they flew over. I mean, the richness that should be here, the richness of life, it's unbelievable how much has been lost. And the scale of the crisis that we're facing right now is not to be underestimated.